There will come soft rains. 7 o'clock. In the living room, the voice clock saying, "Tick tock, 7 o'clock. Time to get up, time to get up. 7 o'clock." As if it were afraid that no one would. The morning house lay empty. Its clock ticked on, repeating and repeating its sounds into the emptiness. 7:09, breakfast time, 7:09. In the kitchen, the breakfast stove gave a hissing sigh and ejected from its warm interior 8 pieces of perfectly brown toast, 8 eggs sunny side up, 16 slices of bacon, and 2 coffees. Today is August 1st, 2026, and a second voice from the kitchen ceiling, in the city of Allendale, California. It repeated the date 3 times for memory's sake. Today is Mr. Featherstone's birthday. Today is the anniversary of Tillita's marriage. Insurance is payable, as the water, gas, and light bills. Somewhere in the walls, relays clicked. Memory tapes glided under electric eyes. 8-1, tick-tock, 8-1 o'clock, off to school, off to work, run, run, 8-1. But no door slammed. No carpets took the soft tread of rubber heels. It was raining outside. The weather box on the front door sang quietly, "Rain, rain, go away. Rubbers, raincoats for today." And the rain tapped on the empty house, echoing. Outside, the garage chimed and lifted its door to reveal the waiting car. After a long wait, the door swung down again. At 8:30, the eggs were shriveled and the toast was like a stone. An aluminum wedge scraped them into the stink, where hot water whirled them down a metal throat, which digested and flushed them away to a distant sea. The dirty dishes were dropped into a hot washer and emerged twinkling dry. 9:15, sang the clock. Time to clean. Out of warrens in the wall, tiny robot mice darted. The rooms were crawl with the small cleaning animals, all rubber and metal. They thudded against the chairs, whirling their mustached runners, kneading the rug nap, sucking gently at the hidden dust. Then, like mysterious invaders, they popped into their burrows. Their pink electric eyes faded, the house was clean. 10 o'clock, the sun came out from behind the rain. The house stood alone in a city of rubble and ashes, and this was the one house left standing. At night, the ruined city gave off a radioactive glow which could have been seen for miles. 10:15. The garden sprinklers whirled up in golden founts, filling the soft morning air with scatterings of brightness. The water pelted window panes, running down the charred west side where the house had been burned evenly free of its white paint. The entire west face of the house was black, save for 5 places. Here the silhouette in paint of the man mowing a lawn. Here, as in a photograph, a woman bent to pick flowers. Still, farther over, their images burned on the wood, and the Titanic incident, a small boy, hands flung into the air, higher up. The image of a thrown ball, and opposite him a girl, hands raised to catch a ball, which never came down. 5 spots of paint, the man, and the woman, the children, the ball remained. The rest was a thin, charcoaled layer. The gentle sprinkler rain filled the garden with falling light. Until this day, how well the house had kept its peace. How carefully had it inquired, "Who goes there? What's the password?" And getting no answer from lonely foxes and whining cats, it had shut up its windows and drawn shades in an old manly preoccupation with self-protection which bordered on a mechanical paranoia. It quivered at each sound. The house did. If a sparrow brushed a window, the shade snapped up. The bird, startled, flew off. No, not even a bird must touch the house. The house was an altar with 10,000 attendants, big, small, servicing, attending, and choirs. But the gods had gone away, and the ritual of religion continued senselessly, uselessly. 12 o'clock, noon. A dog whined, shivering on the front porch. The front door recognized this dog's voice and opened. The dog, once huge and fleshy but now gone to bone, covered with swords, moved in through the house, tracking mud. Behind it, it whirred an angry mice, angry, having to pick up the mud, angry inconvenience, all just angry. For not a leaf fragment blew under the door, But what the wall panels flipped open and the copper scrap rats flashed swiftly out the door. The offending dust, hair, or paper seized in the miniature steel jaws was raced back to the burrows. There, down tubes which fed into the cellar, it was dropped into the sighing vent of an incinerator which sat like an evil ball in the dark corner. The dog ran upstairs, hysterically yelping to each door, at last realizing, as the house realized, that was only silence was here. It sniffed the air and scratched the kitchen door. Behind the door, the stove was making pancakes, which filled the house with rich baked odor and the scent of maple syrup. The dog frothed at the mouth, lying to the door, sniffing its eyes turned to the fire. It ran wildly in circles, biting its tail, spun in a frenzy, and it died. It lay in the parlor for an hour. 2 o'clock, sang a voice, delicately sensing decay at last. The regiments of mice hummed out as softly as blown gray leaves in an electrical wind. 2:15. The dog was gone. In the cellar, the incinerator glowed. Suddenly a whirl of sparks leaped up into the chimney. 2:35. Bridge tables sprouted from the patio walls. Playing cards fluttered onto pads in a shower of pips. Martinis manifested on an oaken bench with egg salad sandwiches. Beautiful, harmonizing instrumental music played. But the tables were silent, and the cards untouched. Nothing seemed to be correctly right at all. It was so quiet. At 4 o'clock, the tables folded like a great butterflies back through the paneled walls. 4:30. The nursery walls glowed. Animals took shape. Yellow giraffes, blue lions, pink antelopes, lilac panthers, cavering in a crystal substance. The walls were glass. They looked out upon a color and fantasy. Hidden films clocked well through the oiled sprockets. And the walls lived. The nursery floor was woven to resemble a crisp cereal meadow. Over this ran aluminum roaches and iron crickets, and in the hot, still air butterflies of a delicate red tissue wavered among the sharp aromas of animal spores. There was a sound like a great matted yellow hive of bees within a dark bellows, the lazy bumble of a purring lion. And where was the patter of the okapi? Feet in the murmur of a fresh jungle rain, like other hooves falling upon the summer-stretched grass. And now the walls dissolved into distances of parched weed, mile on mile on mile. And in the warm, endless sky, the animals drew away into the thorn breaks and water holes. It was the children's hour. 5 o'clock. The bath filled with clear hot water. 6, 7, 8 o'clock. The dinner dishes manipulated like magic tricks. And in the study, some sort of click. In the metal stand opposite the hearth, where fire now blazed up warmly, a cigar popped out, half an inch of a soft gray ash on it, smoking, and waiting. 9 o'clock. The beds warmed their hidden circuits, for nights were cool here. 9:05. A voice spoke from the setting ceiling. Mrs. McClellan, which poem would you like this evening? The house was silent. The voice said at last, Since you express no preference, I shall select a poem at random. Quiet music rose back to the voice. The same instrumental, beautiful, soothing sound that was before. Sarah Teasdale, as I recall, your favorite. There will come soft rains and the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in the tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. And not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone. The fire burned on the stone hearth. The cigar fell away into a mound of quiet ash on its tray. So the empty chairs faced each other between the silent walls, and the music played, and everything was quiet. At 10 o'clock, the house began to die. The wind blew. A falling tree bough crashed through the kitchen window. Cleaning solvent, bottled, shattered over the stove. The room was in a blaze of an instant. "Fire!" screamed a voice. The house lights flashed. Water pumps shot from the water in the ceilings. But the solvent spread of the linoleum, licking, eating under the kitchen door, while the voices took it up in chorus. "Fire! Fire! Fire!" The house tried to save itself. The door sprang tightly shut, but the windows were broken by the heat, and the wind blew and sucked upon the fire. The house gave a ground as the fire in 10 billion angry sparks moved with the flaming ease from room to room and then up the stairs, while scurrying water rats squeaked from the walls, pistoled their water, and ran for more. And so the wall sprays let down showers of mechanical rain. But it's too late now. Somewhere, sighing, a pump shrugged to a stop. The quenching rain ceased, and the reserve water supply, which had filled baths and washed dishes for many quiet days, was gone. The fire crackled up in the stairs. It fed upon Picassos and Matisses in the upper halls like delicacies, baking off the oily flesh, tenderly crisping the canvases into black shavings. Now the fire lay in beds, stood in windows, changed the colors of the drapes. And then reinforcements from attic trapdoors, blind robot faces peered down with faucet mouths gushing green chemical. The fire backed off, as even the elephant must at the height of a dead snake. Now there were 20 snakes whipping all over the floor, killing the fire with clean cold venom of green froth. But the fire was clever. It had sent a flame outside the house, through the attic to the pumps where an explosion! The attic brain which directed the pumps was shattered into bronze shrapnel on the beams. The fire rushed back into every closet. It felt the clothes that hung there. The house shuddered. Oak bone on bone, its bared skeleton cringing from the heat. Its wire and nerves revealed as if a surgeon had torn the skin off to let the red veins and the capillaries quiver to the scalded air. "Help! Help! Fire! Run! Run!" The heat snapped mirrors in the first brittle winter ice, and the voices wailed, "Fire! Fire! Run! Run!" Like a tragic nursery rhyme, a dozen voices. High, low, children dying in a forest. High, low, alone, alone. The voices fading as the wire popped their sheathings, like a hot chestnuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 voices died. In the nursery, the jungle burned. Blue lions roared. Purple giraffes bounded off. The panthers ran in circles, changing color. And 10 million animals, running before the fire, vanished off toward a distant streaming river. 10 more voices died. In the last instant, under the fire avalanche, other choruses, oblivious, could be heard announcing the time, playing the music, cutting the lawn by remote control mower, or setting an umbrella frantically out and in. The slammings and opening of the front door, 1,000 things happening, like a clock shop when each clock strikes the hour insanely before or after the other. A scene of maniac confusion, yet unity, singing, screaming. A few last cleaning mice darting bravely out to carry the horrid ashes away. And one voice was sublime, disregard for the situation. Red